All right. Hi, everyone. My name's Tanya, and I'm one of the founders of Spice Up. And my other co-founder, Kim, might be joining at some point. I'll let everyone know so she could say hi. But we're all very grateful for you all to take your time out of your days to come listen to us speak. We're so excited to hear Charles today. We talked to him briefly to practice, and this is going to be a great event. So thank you for joining us today. We started this new event called Freshly Ground. Our company is called Spice Up, but Freshly Ground is just the virtual events that we're doing during the pandemic currently. We want to provide everyone with a great way to interact with different cultures and interact with different people virtually and safe at home. So a little bit about Spice Up, I'll give you a little background. We formed in April of 2019 last year. We formed at a hackathon called Give Back Hack in Columbus, Ohio. We're in Columbus, Ohio right now. And we placed as one of the top teams, and we've been continuing ever since then. Me and my co-founder Kim, we're both the daughters of immigrants, and so we're first-generation Americans. So one of the reasons that we created Spice Up is because we noticed a lack of representation of our cultures in the cities that we grew up in. And so even in Columbus, we noticed that there aren't many restaurants dedicated to our specific culture. So my family's from Western India, from Gujarat, India, and there are no Gujarati restaurants in Columbus. And so when people, think that they know about Indian food, they mostly talk about North or South India. And we want to use our events to explain to them that different regions within a country have different regional cuisines. So it's things like that we want to give notice to at our events, and we want to give chefs a platform to speak about their stories as well. So our mission is to facilitate opportunities that celebrate diversity and cross-cultural inclusion, and we're hoping to do that through these events. We usually have in-person events, so I know some people aren't from Columbus here. We'd love to come to your state maybe one day, but if you're ever in Columbus, check out our events. Hopefully next year we can have them in person. So our takeaways from this event, the thing that we want people to do and take away from these events is we want you to learn something new about the immigrant experience in the United States. And we want everyone to learn something new about different cultures and cuisines, and also the power of storytelling. 100% of the profits from this event are going to We Feed CBUS. So thank you all for giving money to that cause. So if you didn't read up about them, they donate, they use all their profits to purchase meals from restaurants in Columbus, and specifically restaurants owned by immigrants and minorities and women-led restaurants. And then they take those meals to feed frontline workers during this time. So we're very appreciative to have met them, and we love supporting them, and thank you again for donating to our event. All right, so our agenda, we're going to take a little bit of time, probably 5 to 10 minutes, to learn a little bit about Charles. Then Charles is gonna walk us through how to make papaya salad. And then there will be certain times for questions with Charles. And so I'll explain to everyone how we'll do that. You can either show your face and ask him a person with your video, and you can do that by raising your hand. There's a feature, if you click on participants, there's a feature there that you can click that says raise hand. And I'll get to that later, but during those portions, that's how you can ask a question. Or you can always send a question through the chat. So let's dive into it. Well, hi.
Hi everyone. Jabdipsu, everybody. Hello. Thank you all for joining me today, and thank you, Tanya, for hosting this event. I'm so grateful for it.
We're so happy you're here. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your culture, and what your day-to-day job is?
So my name is Charlie Haines. I am a Cambodian American. I was born in Long Beach, California, originally from California, moved here 2000. Parents wanted better jobs, so they decided to move to the Midwest. Got very expensive down there, obviously. And I was too young then. Everybody keeps asking me, well, what are you doing down here? So obviously, I don't have anywhere to go if I don't follow my parents. So yeah, that's basically it. My mom and dad fled over here, and now this is where I'm at. I am a quality inspector for a popular brand of tires, Goodyear, and I love my culture, Cambodian culture that is, and I would like to speak about it today with you all.
Awesome. Yeah, I think something that's interesting is that you're not a chef yourself,
No,
but
I'm not.
you do it as a hobby.
Yes, I actually got inspired by my mom just watching her cook when I was little, actually. So yeah.
Nice. So that's actually my next question. So what inspired your interest in cooking?
What inspired me to cook was a little story short. We didn't grow up in the nicest, safest neighborhood in Long Beach, California. So my parents had us 6 kids in an apartment, and you know, we wanted to go out and play like normal kids do. We weren't allowed to. They were very strict on us. It just wasn't safe in our neighborhood in that time. We were growing up. So the only way for me to not be bored was to just watch my mom cook. And I was just so curious every day watching my mom cook. And I would ask her questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? Well, my mom would pick me up, and I would just stand on the counter watching her cook, and she would actually let me put stuff in the pot and stuff. And as I got older, I was just so curious to um, I was just so curious about food, about just taste, and how would I get this color, or how can I achieve this taste without using this, without using that, or I'm allergic to this. How would I improvise? So it was more of my mom. I have to give that to her. She's been such an inspirer my whole life.
Nice. And we were talking a little bit about this beforehand, but you said that your mom can tell when you're not using fresh ingredients.
Yes. So as I mentioned, my mom would always like to stand in back of me, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys understand what I'm talking about when you start cooking Cambodian food and your mom or your dad is just right in back of you, just eyeing you like this, like to see if you're putting the right ingredients in the pot. So so I learned the easy way growing up to just improvise. But in our culture, it's more of like you either do it the right way or you don't do it at all. And that's just straight from your mom.
I can definitely relate. So what will you be making today?
So I will be walking you guys through a vegan version of now this is, and you guys see me eat this so much on Instagram and make it so much. And sometimes I'll switch it up to, seafood or without seafood. Traditionally, we would have, all the fish sauce, the fermented fish paste, the shrimp paste, everything and all like that. But therefore, I want to show you guys more of the vegan side of it just for dietary restrictions. And yeah, so I have this whole spread right here for us I don't know if you guys can see it. I didn't want to like move the laptop too much. Thank you. So did you want me to start telling them how I would do it?
Yeah, go ahead. So for everyone joining us, we're gonna watch Charles make papaya salad for some time. And if you have any questions, just add them to the chat. But then after he's done cooking, we'll have some time for questions and answers. So it's all you. Go ahead, Charles.
Thank you. So I'm going to make this the vegan way, and it's the easy way. And the vegan way, it's more of like I have my salt, I have my tamarind juice instead of fermented fish paste, and then I have my sugar. So I mainly use the tamarind concentrated juice for color and for citrus. And you can add more lime if you wanted to. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with these kind of papayas. When you go to the store, you always wanna get the papaya where it's kind of like fat on the bottom, and I'm not sure if you guys can see this, and it goes smaller up top. That's how you know it's a good papaya, because it's not gonna be bitter. And sometimes if you don't pick the right papaya, you're risking the papaya to be bitter once you beat it in the mortar and pestle. So I have a lot, and I'm used to it, so I know how to pick a papaya every day. And it comes from my mom again. My mom teaches me how to pick watermelons, coconuts, papaya. So you just gotta make sure they're like hard and firm. You don't want to get any like soft ones, because those ones are sweet. Now, if you like them sweet, that's fine too. I've had those sometimes. So I've had this one already shaved down right here, and you see right there. And in order for me to get them shredded like this, if you can see right here, Now, how I would get that was, and don't try this if you haven't done it yet. I'm just so used to it. And I'm gonna get a closer shot of this where I actually hit it like this. Careful not to cut yourself, but like I said, I'm so used to this. So that's how I would do it. And then once you get all that kind of cut in there, and I'm gonna show you from right here, I'm just gonna lightly shred it like this. And then you keep doing it like that all the way around until you're ready. And it just depends on how many people are eating. Like for me, sometimes I like making it by myself because I'm lazy to do all of it. So they should come out looking like this, like little shreds. And once we are done with that, and if you want it more colorful, I like to add carrots for a little sweetness. And you can do the same thing. Like I said, careful not to cut your hands. Now we have another shredder where you can actually like shred it like this and it'll protect your hands from getting cut. So put some color into that. So I like a little carrots in there for color. And then same thing, shred all the way around. And there you go. You have colorful papaya salad mixtures with carrots. So after you have that, now we're gonna step into the garlic for the mixture here. So and I have my mortar and pestle right here. So this is where you're actually gonna get your flavors from, is you have to put in there to pound everything into the mortar and pestle to get that nice citrusy umami flavor. So you wanna add your garlic in there. I like about 3. And then you are going to add the sugar, salt, and then we want to keep the concentrated tamarind juice last because we want to go ahead and pound the garlic and sugar and flavors and stuff together. Now you're going to lightly pound it first. My mouth is watering, by the way. So, and after you get that pounded in there, I like to add some green beans. Now these are homegrown green beans that my dad would grow in the backyard. So that saves me time and money to go to the market and do it. So I like to always break it in there. And again, once you put that in there, you're just gonna pound away. And I'm using the spoon on my left hand just so that I can maneuver the garlic and all of the seasonings to one side so that every part of it can get beaded in there. So all the flavors can marry. Once I get that part, now there's a step to everything before you put everything all at once. You don't want all the liquid splashing on you. So you wanna do the main solid vegetables in there first so you don't have to get dirty. So now I like to put cherry tomatoes. And cherry tomatoes also add color into your dish as well. So I always like to cut them in half just to release all of those juices. Once you get that in there, and go ahead and start pounding again. You want to lightly pound it. You want to pound it too hard because sometimes they might splash into your face and you don't want that. So just lightly pound it away. Oh, and if you like it spicy, you can also add dried chili peppers. I like a lot. So obviously, every time I make papaya salad, I add tons of dried chili red peppers. Put that in there. Now this is gonna add some heat now into your mix. So go ahead and pound away. I'm gonna show you in a little bit once everything is pounded, and I'll show you how the color is once everything's done. If you want, you can also add eggplants too right away. So I'm gonna take this out a little bit, And I'll take one of these purple Thai eggplants right here. You can see right there. And I'll just slice that in there, like so, just for some color and some crunch. We're halfway done, you guys. So go ahead and count that again. I'm looking away because I don't want to get splashed and have to run out of the camera to go wash my face. So here we go. So now I want to add my lime. So when I add my lime, I like to squeeze it. If you guys can see, I can squeeze it in there, and I also like to just put the whole lime wedge in there. So I'll cut another one, then I'll add another lime. Almost at the last step. Keep pounding, and you know, get mad at it sometimes, but that's how you get all the nice juices and stuff once the papaya is done. Now, last step. Concentrated tamarind juice for color. So everything's gonna look a little darker now. And I'll show you that 1 minute. Mix that all together. Sometimes you can also like do like a little taste test and see if you need more ingredients in there if you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this to the side. See if I can show you guys a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see it. So it's all beaded in there and there's juices in there. And now you want to go ahead and add your papaya that we just chopped into the mixture. And then go ahead and take your mortar and pestle and do it again. And just mix it all around. Beat them all together. Just make sure you get everything all in there. Once you get everything all saturated and coated in there, just to the side. And then you are going to come out with a beautiful papaya salad, spicy papaya salad. So normally, like I said, I like a lot of stuff in there. I like the whole crab paste. I like the whole fish paste, fermented fish paste. And I'm gonna demonstrate to you guys. This is the sticky rice right here. Now I did this earlier. And there's a sticky rice in the little straw bowl that we put it in just so it can stay firm and soft. And how we would do that is I would grab it a little bit and you form it into a little ball like this. And then you just marry them with your fingers like this. And then you will take a bite. Mm. I'm gonna eat this off camera after. I wish you guys can have some. So like I said, once you get all that done, and that's your recipe for the vegan pie salad right here. Different vegetables you can eat them with. You can put them inside of cabbage, wrap them up and eat them like a cabbage wrap. You can add some basil into it. And what's good about this is you can use your hands. I love using my hands for these kind of foods. So, and I have a sauce that it's already pre-made. So this is our voracious line sauces that it's an all-in-one. So you don't have to go through what I just did with the whole line and the measurements and the tomatoes. This is all in one where you can just mix it all in there at once and you're done. It cuts down a lot of time. So that's the vegan papaya salad. Back to you, Tanya.
I love it. That looks so good.
Thank you.
We're going to take some questions from people. So, again, if you want to ask a question, you can ask it in the group chat. Let me know if you have questions.
Anybody have any questions?
Okay, so someone asked, I love protein. What's your favorite meat to pair with this dish?
So I like I like a lot of grilled proteins, and traditionally with us being Cambodian, and when we eat these salads, we like to eat them with grilled steak kebabs or grilled chicken, and you could even do like for me, I like cooked shrimp in there. So when I get my prawns and shrimps, I'll boil them until they're cooked. And then once I mix everything, I'll put the shrimp last. And you don't need to season the shrimps or anything because shrimps are already sweet and sometimes they're salty. So once you get all that mixed in there, it's just, oh my gosh, a pile of goodness. Like just eat it with your hands and with a nice cold beer or any kind of cocktail you would prefer. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, what is all that other stuff you have out there? Like sauces and that picture next to you.
This is the Angkor Wat, one of the seven world wonder places to visit is the temple in Cambodia in Siem Reap. And you can see a lot of those in National Geographic. It's huge. It tells you a lot about that temple. It's very, very beautiful. And I have some more vegetables right here, like green beans, and that's one of my sauce line that I'm partnered with. And yeah, that's basically all.
What's the sticky rice in?
The sticky rice is in a straw-like bowl, and it's to keep the rice soft and firm instead of hard. Because I'm pretty sure if rice sits out for a couple of hours, it gets hard. So this keeps it from getting hard. So you just close it every time you eat it.
Awesome. So we have a couple more questions from the chat group. So what is the sash you're wearing?
So the sash I'm wearing is a gaman, and I got this recently from my friend on Instagram, and it's just to represent my culture. We wear a lot of gaman when we go to temples or little peace offerings when we go see the monks and stuff. It's just a sign of respect for a lot of people.
Nice. And then is Cambodian food typically spicy?
Not really. It's up to you at the end of the day what you want in your food. I like it really spicy. I have a lot of Thai and Lao friends that we share almost the same cultures. So I'm around them a lot that they make spicy food every day. And I just build my spice tolerance higher and higher each time.
Nice. A couple more questions. Do you plan on veganizing any more of your Cambodian dishes?
Yes, because I have a lot of vegan friends that would love to have some of my cooking. So right now, I have some recipes that does not involve any like processed fish paste or anything like that. It's just natural, all natural. So yes, I plan on trying to improvise more on the vegan side.
I'd love to hear those recipes after this. We'll take a couple more and then we'll move on to other questions we have. I see Shreya, we'll cover that question in our next portion. But someone asked, where can we buy the sauce?
So my sauce line or just what I just
yeah, the Voracious Market.
So you guys can actually visit, and like I said, this is already pre-made. It's all in one. You don't have to worry about, doing what I just did. I like doing it authentically, or else I'll get in trouble with my mom. Just kidding. But you can visit us at www.voraciousmarket.com, and you can see all of the sauces and a lot of varieties to choose from. They have family-friendly recipes that you can follow as well. And yeah, there's so many to choose from. This is not all of them right here. We actually have a lot more, and we have spices, we have jerky. So yeah.
Do you prefer to use dried Thai chili peppers or fresh Thai chili peppers in the papaya salad?
Good question, because I like both. I like dried chili because they balance out a spice to where it's spicy, but yet I can handle it. Now, if I use non-dry chili, they give me more of that moisture, that wet spice to where it really, really, really gets to you. Like it's so spicy to where your ears can feel the tingliness. So I would say I prefer the dried more because it gives me more color and more depth.
We bonded before this about how we
Yeah.
love spicy food. Just one more question. Do you have an ebook of Cambodian foods? And if not, can we convince you to make one?
I get a lot of questions about that, and I'm really, really thinking about doing one just for everyone, not just for the Cambodian culture, for everyone. And it's another way to educate our the younger generations nowadays to where they want to learn, that they want to you know, get in touch more with our Cambodian culture and the recipes. And I think that's a good idea. So definitely I will look into it and I will try my best.
Awesome. Thanks for all the questions, everyone. We'll have a second question and answer
guys.
portion. Now we're going to move on to a portion of our events where we let Charles tell us about himself. And so we have a lot of questions in regards to his culture and his Cambodian roots. We do like to have an emphasis on the immigrant experience during our events. So Charles, if you could tell us a little bit more about your family's story and their immigration experience.
From what I remember from my parents, and I typically don't talk about this to a lot of people just because not a lot knows about the genocide that my parents and a lot of our Cambodian parents went through. And my parents don't really like to talk about it either because it just gives them flashbacks, and they still have dreams about it till this day. But they escaped the war in 1975, I think, and then they fled to Thailand. And you know, they had my oldest brother there, and after that, they had a sponsor and brought them to the States. And my parents wanted the, you know, American lifestyle, the American dream. And growing up, from what I remember my dad going to school full time just to learn English so that he can take care of all of us. And my mom was a full-time cook in California, a chef at that. And I've just been so curious about their lives. And when I finally went to their homeland and I stepped foot on Cambodia, I just had a different way to look at life. I appreciated a lot of things when I saw what they went through. And I just want to educate some people about the Khmer Rouge regime where, like I said, our parents had gone through, and it has not been taught to us in school. So
that's something I mentioned to Charles before this event, is that I wasn't taught about that in school either. You mentioned a couple movies that people can check out if they want to learn more.
Yes, so if you are curious, Angelina Jolie just made a movie called First They Killed My Father. It just tells you and shows you what how Cambodia was back then, how beautiful it was back then before the war had started, before the communists took over his people. It's basically the Holocaust version of Cambodia.
Thanks for sharing. Can you tell us about what it was like to have a strong cultural connection to your Cambodian roots, but while growing up in the United States?
I would say while growing up in the United States, and I still have friends till this day that was not born in the States. And so they were more fluent in the language. They were more fluent into the culture. Like my family, my parents had converted before I was born. So I always grew up Christian, but as I grew older, it was more of like, I respect everyone's culture. I want to get in touch more on the Cambodian side more, the Buddhist side more, because a lot of my friends are Buddhists, and I've noticed they always do like holidays, and they always do gatherings during this time, or celebrate someone's passing on their 100th day. And I was always curious about that, and I wanted to learn about it too as well, because I was never brought up to it growing up because I grew up Christian. And so I'm just thankful that my friends nowadays are letting me experience that with them.
We bonded over that because we're both first generation Americans, that we
Yeah.
don't truly feel Cambodian or Indian. We don't truly feel
Yeah.
American. We're in this in between.
Right, in between.
So could you share some of your favorite memories about your culture and your heritage growing up?
My favorite memory growing up, I would have to say, come on, you guys, Cambodian New Year's. You know, getting dressed up, you know, wearing your fancy traditional Cambodian outfits, going to the temple. You have different kind of vendors selling, you know, saktikat meaning kebabs, beef kebabs and all that stuff. And you have different vendors. You have your aunties vendors, you have your uncles, you have your friends over there. You don't like one vendor, you go to your auntie over there. You don't like hers, you go to over there. So it's fun to just all of us coming to one and just getting along and just celebrating our culture, you know, playing like old school Cambodian games with each other, getting to know people we never even see before. And so it's a good memory for me because I remember seeing a lot of Cambodian artists come sing and, you know, just everybody just having a good time. Oh, and water fights. So we have a lot of water fights and powder fights and stuff during Cambodian New Year. So that's one of my favorite memories growing up.
Can you talk more about that? What is a water fight?
So the water fight is more of like now the Thais and the Lao, they do it as well. It's more of like just to celebrate the culture. Everybody goes out with like squirt guns or buckets of water. Everybody, and it's not to like, you know, do it out of like disrespect. It's more of like a celebration. Like, hey, it's Cambodian New Year, whoopee, you know. And sometimes you'll get baby powder instead, or you'll get like whipped cream and just powder each other and just have fun, let loose. So that was one of my favorite things growing up.
That sounds super fun.
Yeah, super fun.
So what are some of your favorite things about Cambodian culture?
One of my favorite things about Cambodian culture is just how vibrant we are, how colorful, how respectful we are towards our elders. And I just like that we have a soft spot for, you know, our elders once we, you know, we do things for them. And it's more of like my siblings, my oldest brother, he basically took care of us growing up, and it just trickled down to the next sibling, to the next sibling, to the next sibling, where it falls onto me now. So it's my turn, and it's nothing against them that they're done or whatever. They still help out, whatever. But now it's kind of like I'm doing my part in giving back to my mom and dad. So
I like that. You put a big emphasis on like giving back to your parents for all that.
Yeah.
So are there ways that you maintain your Cambodian culture while in Columbus?
Yes. So me and my oldest brother, we used to be in a dance group for Asian festivals, and every Sundays we would go practice at the temple and learn old folklore dances so that we can perform during Asian festival this year. But obviously it's not going to happen this year, but we still know our dances, and we get together often and just talk about, you know, everything has to be perfect before we go out there, because the grown-ups, the OGs, I like to say, they will start criticizing you. You're not doing that right. You're not bending your hand far enough, or you're not doing, you know. So yeah, that's how I maintain keeping the culture alive.
What was that dance group called?
We use they are called Khmer Apsara troops. So it's more of like they represent the 7 goddesses in Cambodia, and there's a story behind it. But there are 7. I think there are 7 sisters that they do a lot of wishing dances just to give people good luck and stuff. So, and if you go to a Cambodian house, you'll see them around the wall somewhere. And I'll show you one right now, actually. So this is one of the Apsaras. You can see it. So you'll see a lot of those beautiful dancers.
I love what that photo was wearing. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, so she's decked out in a lot of sarongs and you know, the gaman.
Nice. So what are your favorite Cambodian dishes? So we mentioned that you love papaya salad, and I can't wait to try it. But what are some other favorite dishes of yours?
So my other favorite dish would have to be ketil, and I'm pretty sure you guys, you know about ketil. Now, ketil is not really, it's not really known in Columbus because everybody prefers to call it pho, and I'm pretty sure you heard of pho. And so pho came from Vietnam, and then Laotians use it too. Just a little different ingredients than how we would make it. So um, again, and when we make a deal, it's more of like a rice noodle soup, and you can put your beef bone marrows in there and just all kinds of meats in there, and then you have all your condiments and then your herbs, your spices.
So you mentioned that your goal is to get Cambodian food and recipes on the map, especially in Columbus.
Yes.
Can you talk more about what drives that goal?
So I've noticed a lot in the Cambodian food scene here. I know we have one. Not a lot of people know what is Cambodian food, because I'm always noticing that we affiliate our food with other mainstream foods. I just wanted to uh, know, why do we affiliate our foods with a lot of other mainstream foods all the time? And it's not a bad thing at all, if we do or not. I just want to know, how are we going to stand on our own? So, and I think Chanta Thatch asked the questions. I didn't get to see what she asked.
Yeah, they asked, would you ever consider having a restaurant or a food truck?
You know what? I did a food truck thingy, and I had a pop up one time at Bonifacio. I like the idea of a food truck just because I like traveling. So that can be something I would think about in the future, because I have a lot of friends that are in the food truck scene. Yeah.
Great. And to your point earlier, I hope that, you know, events like this, or you continuing to make a book, is a way that people can be exposed to Cambodian culture.
Yes.
And I appreciate you coming here and talking to us about it. So now is our second portion of questions. I see people already asking questions in the chat.
Yeah.
So we have one more question. What about a booth of your own during a Cambodian New Year?
A booth of my own is very possible because it's easier. I have connections with people who are affiliated with different vendors that they would come out to do for like Asian festivals and temples and stuff. So good point. I'm gonna think about it.
Someone mentioned that it would be great for Asian festivals too.
Yeah, but then I won't be dancing. So
you can't do both.
I can do both.
We have a couple more questions. So how do you navigate proving that you're Cambodian enough or American enough, especially when some of that may be coming from your own family?
I would have to say I know a lot about respect in our culture. That's basically it. It's just respect.
Mm-hmm. That's the main driving force for you. Does anyone else have another question? Let me know.
Any more questions, you guys?
I'll give everyone a couple more seconds. If not, we have some closing things that we want to go through. I know we're kind of ending a little bit early. Someone said that they want an ebook ASAP. Me too. I think we all do.
I know who you are.
Or maybe a YouTube channel. Yes, let's do
Yes,
it.
definitely. I do have a YouTube channel right now with my friend. Eventually, I will venture off to doing my own YouTube channel soon. So yes, it's in thought.
We have one more question. It was kind of along the same lines of like being a first generation American. What was it like growing up being first generation American in the United States? I know you lived in California for some time and then you moved to the US, to Columbus. Did you have any differences in regards to living in either state?
Um, a lot of my friends in Columbus were um, they were they were born there, so they're more influenced into the culture. And then I have friends that are not like me. So and they're pretty much older too, so that's why I know that they have more experiences with the culture, and so they like to educate me about it as well. So I'm very grateful of that.
What are some of your favorite restaurants in Columbus?
So it depends on what kind of food, but I have one in mind, and I love Bangkok. If you guys know Bangkok on Refugee Road, you will get the street style food there. And of course, you're gonna get papaya salad too. Any version you want, the Lao version, the Thai version, the vegan version, they have it all over there. So I would say yes, Bangkok and on Refugee Road.
And where did you get your ingredients today?
Where did I get my ingredients?
Mm-hmm.
I got my ingredients from doing a lot of research, and I've done this for a pop-up in the past too for vegans. So yeah, that's where I got it from. It's very easy, like a 1, 2, 3 step. It didn't have a lot of ingredients in it, but it was still pungent. It was still good. It was still flavorful.
Did you go to a particular grocery store to get your?
Yes, I went to Sunrise International Market this morning. They have the freshest produce, and very cheap too. So papaya salad is very cheap, you guys, and you can eat it for days. You know, you don't have to make it all at once to keep it. That's up to you. I like to make it when I'm about to eat it because it's more fresh. So, and it stays crunchy for a while. So, yeah.
Cool. Lena asked what was on the previous pop-up menu. Is that in regards to your pop-ups?
What was on my menu for the pop-up I had in Bonifacio was I had a 3-course meal I did for my appetizers. I had, and it was all vegan as well. I had, of course, the papaya salad, and I had fried, fried tofu and lemongrass, marinated in lemongrass. So we had that paired with that, and then I had for dessert, I had a sticky rice, what I just showed you, sticky rice, but lathered in condensed sweet coconut milk and sweet young mango.
Sounds so good.
Yeah.
So someone asked, would you start doing step-by-step videos for your Cambodian dishes?
I get asked that a lot, and I'm trying, so bear with me. I've been doing it sometimes. I just feel like I want a better camera for it, and and I'm only a one-man crew too, so I do it all. I do one hand and the other one cooking and stuff. So so yes, I would like to do that one day.
We can all be your sous chef one day.
Oh my God, I would love it. I need a taste tester too.
How long can you keep the papaya salad in the fridge?
From what I know, you can keep, now if it's like this and if it's not cut yet, I think you can keep it in the fridge for at least a month, up to a month, I would say. But if you have it cut open like how I just did right here, you want to use it within that week, or else it'll start to soften and it wouldn't be good. It'll just be soggy.
Oh, is that the same for when it's done too? Probably a week's time?
Yeah, because of all the juice is going inside of the papaya. It's gonna get all soggy. It'll taste more, yeah, not good. I would prefer you to eat it ASAP. So
we have 2 more questions. We'll probably close out after the net. Well, there's 3 more questions now. After these 3, so what's your most challenging traditional dish?
My most challenging, I would say, on the dessert side. Now, you have to be very, very consistent with doing a lot of desserts, because it requires you to use your hands a lot, and you need to keep moving. So that's mainly the challenging part on Cambodian desserts, are the sweets, but I love it.
What distinguishes Cambodian papaya salad from Thai or Laos?
Thai and Lao. Cambodians we're more simple with our produce. It's mainly just shredded carrots, shredded papaya, um, tomatoes, and peanuts. That's it. And of course the sauce. That's about it. Now, the difference between Thai and Lao, they add more of the spicy fermented crab paste, the spicy fermented fish paste, the spicy fermented shrimp paste. They marry all that at once, and they use a lot of vegetables in it. And sometimes they would use like a ceviche like shrimp, and it could be eaten raw as well, as long as you clean it very good. And that's how I like it too. So I've had a lot of that in Thailand, so I took advantage of that. And it was cheap. It was cheaper.
Awesome. And one last question someone asked, would you consider doing live video tutorials for us soon?
Well, since Miss Tanya had brought me aboard on this, I feel more confident and more comfortable. And I think I will start using my IGTV more often, you guys. What do you think?
Yes. I would watch it.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's a resounding yes, oh yes in the chat.
Okay, guys. I will do it. I promise I will do it.
Awesome. So one last question for you, and then we can close out. So how can we support you? Where can we buy Voracious Market goods?
How you can support me is we have all of these sauces right here, and there's many to choose from. Like I said, if you go visit our website at www.voraciousmarket.com, and you can click on my link on my Instagram as well. It'll take you there as well, and you can see everything from, jerkies to, we had candles, but I think it's sold out. We have spices that you can eat with sour fruits, and we have to-go keychains, and yeah, there's just a lot, and I like it because it's very, the majority of it is very traditional, like, you would, make at home, and you don't have the time to make it at home. It's already done for you. So, and especially with the lemongrass, it requires you to use the mortar and pestle as well. And not a lot of people have the time to do that. So I think it's a very easy way to bang out the day with some sauces that's already made. So yes, voraciousmarket.com.
Do you have like a top 3 favorites?
My top 3 favorites from the line would have to be, of course, the papaya salad right here. Because sometimes I ain't got time, so I'm just going to use a sauce. I have the sweet and savory marinade in case I want to marinate some meats for my kebabs. It's already right here, ready. And we're launching a new sauce soon, so I can't really show you, and I think that's my 3rd favorite. So it's going to come out soon, so you guys will see that as well.
Awesome. I'm going to link your Instagram here so people can follow and see. And someone did link the Voracious Market link in the chat too. Everyone go buy one directly after this. Any last words? Anything else you'd like to say to everyone?
I want to thank all of you so much for joining me and supporting me. I'm so grateful for this opportunity, especially Ms. Tanya had given me this opportunity to showcase Cambodian cuisine and what is Cambodian food. And my heart is full, and I thank you guys so much. And just thank you for you guys taking the time to just join me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. I can't see you guys, but thank you so much. Oh,
everyone's saying they love you.
Thank you guys so much, and especially you guys donating to We Feed Columbus. Oh my God, I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys. So yes, thank you guys again. And I'm pretty sure me and Tanya's gonna meet up again soon for another session soon. So
I hope so. Let's keep doing it every month. Awesome. Well, thank you so
to
much.
my West Coast family. Thank you so much for joining in. I know it's 3 hours behind, and I'm so grateful you guys got to join me on this.
We have a couple last minute outros, and then we can all hang out on here if you want to keep talking to Charles or not. I'll stick around too. But we just want to say thank you everyone for joining us. We were so excited for this event. We've been stalking Charles for some time, and we're so glad he finally, wanted to speak on our channel. So we officially raised $281 for We Feed Seabus. That's bananas. Thank you so much, everyone. Considering there was no amount that any of you had to donate, everyone gave from the goodness of their hearts. So thank you so much. If you want to continue supporting them, I can post the link here. I'll put it in the chat. And then also we have a survey. So if you guys wouldn't mind filling out a survey, we just want to keep improving these events. You can mention all the technical issues I had, that's fine. But there's the link. Go ahead and fill that out. We appreciate it. Thanks again for donating to We Feed Seabus. If you want to post about this event on Instagram, please tag us at SpiceUpEats. We look at all of the posts that everyone tags us in. We would greatly appreciate it. And obviously go follow Charles. He is great food photography. Is the reason we got to know him.
Thank you all again.
Yeah. And then we don't have a chef for the next event. We're on the lookout, but we have a list of people that we want to talk to. So if you have any recommendations, we're willing to talk to people outside of Ohio too. If someone has a story to tell in relation to the immigrant experience, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate it. That's all we got. Feel free to head out whenever you want. Otherwise, I'll leave I can unmute everyone. It might be crazy. We can try that right now. But feel free to leave right now if you don't want to be a part of a hangout afterwards.